Morning, everybody. Hello, JP. How you doing?
Everyone. I think there's probably five
Yeah.
listeners,
No, I think we
six.
have somewhere between 15 to 20. They could be listening multiple times,
We
but that's
should
good. That's
we
good
should
for us.
just we should read their names off because we don't have them.
I don't know their
Thank you,
names. I mean,
thank you, all these people.
I know a few names, but there's probably a guy in like Kazakhstan
Yeah,
who likes your hair, and
true.
Um, but welcome everyone to Midlife Muscle and Strength Podcast, where we try to help you be better, not broken. Don't mind my lighting today. I'm on my old laptop because my other laptop charger is nowhere to be found. So I look a little bit more beardy today, but
I think people just listen for your voice. That
they don't care about my beard.
I don't think they even watch the
Shannon doesn't
videos.
care for it either. Shannon thinks I need to shave, but I'm in summer mode, so I don't really care.
It's funny that you do a summer beard. I feel like that's a winter thing.
Yeah, it's more just like apathy and laziness. I
Okay,
have to look semi put together when I'm at school.
got it.
Otherwise, the kids will think, "Are you okay, Mr. Martin?" Like, so that's why. But yeah,
Drinking your protein powder out of like a paper bag. You're like,
yeah, like
yeah,
yeah.
tough
Like,
day.
Mr. K, we saw you on the corner over there. So we got a fun topic today to talk about. We actually, before we got on, we're even kind of debating a little bit about like what even the topic is, because we sort of had not different interpretations, but we could go different directions with it. So um, I want to, if I say this wrong, tell me I said it wrong, but I want to say that we're calling this like fitness standards or fitness like benchmarks. I guess fitness benchmarks is the way I like it better.
Yeah,
To
fitness
say,
benchmarks to strive for. I don't think you have to accomplish all of them, but like at least trending towards these few that we name off, I think would be important. It'd be good, like just be like, okay, I have some overall fitness. If there's like any that you're like really down on or not close to, I think it's like kind of shows like where you might want to focus your program towards or skew towards a little bit.
yeah, and I think the the reason that this popped into my head and we started talking about it, because I mentioned it in a text thread we had together, is I was just thinking about like goals. And I think sometimes now everyone, when we talk on the show, it's always generally just about being a healthier human so that you can do all the stuff you need to do outside the gym better. But I think that isn't enough of a goal for people. Sometimes it's too vague and big, and sometimes people like something a little bit more specific to aim for. So these are some basic ones. I think that if you're like, I don't really know why I'm in the gym right now, and I go and I work out, but I don't have anything I'm really shooting for. These are some things you could shoot for, and if these are too low for you, if you're beyond this already, you could always ratchet it up a little bit if you need a more difficult thing, or if you've already hit these or you're hitting these, you can shift your goals to something else that's maybe more advanced or more specific. So these are not the end all be all, but these are some good baseline standards that we think you should aim for or have in your back pocket at any one time, fitness wise. So do you want to start, JP, with, do you want to do all five, or do you want to just we'll do one and one. We'll talk about like one at a time a little bit before
Yeah,
we just list
yeah,
them all off.
yeah. That'd be great.
You want to hit your first one there?
Yeah, I think we kind of clump these together, but either a deadlift or a back squat I think shows great strength.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the standard would be deadlift. I think 2 times body weight for a guy, maybe 1.25. So if you're a 200-pound guy, you're looking to deadlift 400 pounds just to keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a back squat, maybe 1.5. So that you're looking at like a 300-pound back squat. Let's go 315 just for an easy number. So like a 405 deadlift and a 315 back squat. I think that's like showing good leg strength. So I think you can kind of pick which one. Hopefully there's not a big disparity. I would think if you could deadlift 400 pounds, your squat should be pretty good. It's not going to be like a 225 squat. So, but I think like, being close to those numbers. And I think those might change a little bit. I don't think those should change too much in your 40s, maybe 50s. They might change a little bit, but you should be pretty close to those. I think it's funny. It's like there's standards, and then it's like what age you're at kind of dictates.
Yes, I was thinking
maybe
the same
how
thing.
close you are. I think if you're in your 20s, they should be higher.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in your 50s, 60s, they should be like, you're trying to hang on to them as long as you can.
Yeah.
I don't think you're trying to like, max out those, but
Yeah.
I think that just shows adequate leg strength. And then also like, if you're talking about leg strength, obviously you want single leg strength as well. I don't really have a standard, but I think Bulgarian split squats is always, I know we love that. But maybe it's like, I don't know, body weight for in overall, like,
Yeah, I agree with that.
like,
I think that's a good number.
And maybe it's only like 3 reps. It's not a lot of reps. It's just kind of being able to, grab your body weight and stand up with one leg with it on a bench. So,
I think that's a good, like 50% of body weight in each hand, like for 3 to 5 reps on Bulgarian split squat. That's a great standard. If you can hit that, so for me, that'd be like 100-pound dumbbell in each hand. That's pretty spicy for me. Yeah. So if you can hit that number for you, 3 to 5 reps, that's a pretty good. I'd almost argue that might be
harder,
a tougher standard than the deadlift and back squat. But
yeah, I would agree with that.
So I totally agree with the numbers you put out there, like around a 405 deadlift, around a 315 back squat.
That's for to clarify, that's for a 200-pound person.
Yeah.
So if you're less than that, obviously it's going to change.
It's going to change. It's going to slide and scale. And females, I think that still works for females on that side of things. I think maybe when you go with some upper body stuff, you might want to scale it a bit more for females just because, anatomically speaking, they have a little bit more problem with the pressing stuff. No offense, ladies out there, but bench presses often are like a push-up is a little bit tougher, or pull-ups for you compared to men. But I think the sliding scale for your age is also important. And we're not talking about elite athletes right now, right? Like just to note that, like if you're an elite athlete or you're doing certain sports, this might be like, well, that's way too low for me. I'm a CrossFitter or what. But even having said that, I don't want to take it back necessarily, but if you're still building up your strength, that's a good place to start. If you have a baseline strength at that number, you can then go from there. If you're not there yet, then you got to get there first before you can start making these big leaps to bigger numbers and bigger lifts. So, but I love the sliding scale you said about the age thing, because if you're 75 years old, again, I'm sure there's 75-year-old powerlifters out there that are hitting these numbers easy, but you just need a baseline of strength that can get you up out of a chair, and you can pick up your bag off the floor without blowing your back out. So finding that number for you at that age is important too. But I think those numbers are pretty much spot on. So that's like double body weight, deadlift, and 1.5 on the back squat. So I think that's good. And the Bulgarian split squat, I'm right there with you. I think if you can do 100% of your body weight for 3 to 5 reps each leg, you're golden. You're plenty strong. You're strong enough to do a lot of things inside and outside the gym.
Yeah, and I think with those standards, I think it's like if you're a beginner lifter, like in just starting lifting, you're going to see the most gains by trying to get those 3 lifts up over like just bench pressing. I think like we've talked about, we go to the gym and I don't see anyone do legs. Legs are hard. Legs is
not fun.
Not fun. Like it hurts. So like I think if you were going to start a program, I think starting a program and having a leg focus, because if you can deadlift 400 pounds, I'm going to say you're pretty strong upper body too. Like just to hold on to the weight.
Grip and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you're back squatting 300 pounds, like you have a core, like you're not squatting with mashed potatoes between your in your core, So that's kind of why I think we use those as standards. Just because it's like, if you can get to those, like it uses like, I think I heard like a squat uses like 300 muscles. Like it's not just your legs, like it's your core, it's your upper back. It's like, there's so many muscle groups being used. It's referred to as a leg exercise, but it's like, it's a full body exercise. Like there's not much you're hiding, squatting. So, or deadlifting, either one.
And like, let's be honest, we're bipedal beings. Like we're on our leg, we're standing on our feet most of the time, right? And hopefully not sitting all day long, but you're not on your hands, right, all day long. So your legs better be strong and better be able to carry the load that you're going to put on them, because that's they're getting used. They're getting the most miles out of any part of your body, right? So
And one
Um,
thing, just because we are both coaches, like this is with perfect form.
yeah,
Like it's not like a rounded back deadlift or like you're like struggling to get up in your squat. Like it's the standard should be like you can easily not easily achieve it, but like your form is perfect doing these. So like
yeah.
obviously that goes without saying. Like but it's not like I've seen some really ugly deadlifts. Like it's not like don't try to hit a 405 with terrible form just to check off because it doesn't really check off the box. Like doing
Yeah.
it with really good form.
I think the goal should be is and the way I always think about it is if I'm at this benchmark, if I've got this one in the bag, I can go into the gym with a pretty minimal warm up and hit these things not easily, but I know any given day I can go in, all right, I got this. It's
Yeah.
not like this is not I don't know if I'm going to hit this. All right. If you're building your way up to this, maybe it's going to become your 1 rep max and then soon become easier for you. But if you've got this benchmark, this is a Monday through Sunday after a warm up. I can go and pull this off the floor. I can do this squat and it'll look good. It's not going to be ugly
Yeah.
mess. All right, second one. I'm going to throw a little no lifting here. 7-minute mile. Now, how's your sliding scale on this one? Because I think you can be a little more generous or a little more expectations in a wider gamut for people of different ages for the 7-minute mile, in my opinion. I think this doesn't need to change too much until maybe 60s or 70s for people. But if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, I think a 7-minute mile, you're moving, but I think that's something you should have. You should be able to do that if you're taking care of your cardiovascular conditioning. Maybe adding 30 seconds here or there as you get into the 50s, 60s. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think 7's pretty comfortable. Maybe as you get older, it's like 7:30, 8 maybe. But like, I think endurance is actually easier as you get older. So like, or less, more accessible. So I think that's fine. I don't really think it is an age thing there. Um, I think it's like human function. You should be able to run a mile without stopping. Um, and like, if you're a big bodybuilder and you can't run, like that shows like a gap in your fitness. So it's kind of like an
Yeah,
example
love
of like,
that.
I think the extremes of like, you can, easily deadlift 4 or 5, but you can't run a mile. Like, I think there's some, uh, your fitness is skewed one way to just strength, where I think you should be able to get up and move and run. And I think for people who, are getting into fitness, like it's just, you can always run. You can always just get out and go. And I think it's just great to move. I like a mile over like a 5K, just because like, yeah, I think you kind of get like more specific that way. But yeah, I love that. Getting out and just running.
Could you right now, no warm up, go out and go sub 7? Like go like 6:30. I know you could do set if Chris was like, get out there right now, go.
Yeah.
Like, but could you push towards like a 6-minute mile and probably like absolutely torch yourself?
Yeah, I think I could. Do I want to? No. Maybe I'll hit the track and I'll videotape it.
I was thinking about doing one at the end of the summer just out of curiosity.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
myself.
I think it's like that's a fun one because you can always kind of move it up or move it down. I think for me it's always like I think it's funny. Like we'll probably talk later, but like I think that's a body weight one for me. Like if I'm up at 210, 215,
Yeah.
it makes running a lot harder. It's like a 10 to 15 pound weight vest. If I'm like under 200, 190, like it's a lot easier. So like I think that's just another way to like control your weight a little bit,
And keep an eye on it. Like, hey, if I
keep
feel
an
like
eye,
a
like, hey,
lumbering beast.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot easier if I'm a little bit lighter. So yeah, I think it's a good way to kind of have those standards of strength and then that endurance standard as well.
Yeah, that's a great that's true too, because I remember after college I got into CrossFit. When I was in college I played soccer at like 160 pounds. Then I got into CrossFit and gained a massive amount of muscle just from training a ton. Tried to get back into soccer in my late 20s, early 30s, and I felt like I was a load. I was 200 pounds. And it just, my body felt like you should not be running at this weight. And it's really, it has been very hard and a big adjustment because I'm still like 190 plus. And
Right.
It's just definitely you can feel it. So it is a great indicator of are you at a good body weight to move the way you should. Like I don't care what you should be able to run a mile, right? You can be super strong and run a mile around 7 minutes. If you're, like you said, skewed too far one way, I was skewed too far, way too far into the strength realm, but to go back to soccer at that time. So it was a good indicator for me. Like, well, man, I gotta chill with the muscle mass and get back to like what my frame should be at 5'8", because 200 was a little much.
Little much. I think it's just a human. We're like you said, like we're on 2 feet. We're meant to run. Like that's So I think like just looking at the way our bodies are built, like should be something you should be able to do. And I think a lot of people, if you took 100 people right now off the street, like I don't think a lot of them are running. So it's like
No.
Maybe I think that's something more people should be doing. I think people. It's funny. I think people go to extremes. They like either just sprint, which is I like almost even more, or they're just like really long endurance athletes and they can't really run that fast. So it's like I think 7 minutes, 6:30, like kind of that range there is like pushes those endurance people into a discomfort zone and takes the sprinters and like makes them run a little longer than they used to. So
yeah, I like that. It's a good comparison.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one, sir?
Let's go. I think like one of the great upper body strength movements would be pull-ups.
Yeah.
And we might, I think there's maybe a guy standard and then a woman standard, or and then I don't think there's much age unless you have like a significant injury, like bad shoulders, or I don't know. I think you should be strengthening your shoulders, but I was toying between like 10 and 15. I don't know, maybe 20, 15, 20.
Wow, in one set?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I can hit 15 easily. I think I've always been able to just hit 15. I'm not saying I should be the standard.
This guy's got some elite standards here. He's building cyborgs.
maybe 10. I don't know.
So my number was 5, and maybe I was aiming a little bit low, and I'm not giving the people enough credit out there. But
let's go. Well, if I was 15, you were 5. Let's say 10.
Okay, call it 10. So 10 unbroken. We're saying unbroken, so you can't get off and reset. Like 10 in a row pull-ups. Honestly, how many people do you know that can do that?
Like, I don't know if like people can do one pull up.
Yeah. So, and I'm not saying that's not a standard that we should have. I'm just saying it's kind of indicative of an issue, right? That people just can't do pull-ups. And I don't want to call society out, but I think a massive part of that is just body weight issue, right? Yep. If you are too heavy to pull yourself up, then you're, number one, not strong enough. And number two, you're probably overweight, or, you're having problems figuring out that ratio for yourself. So I think the 5 to 10 rep range pull up will tell you a lot about your fitness, or your upper body strength, grip strength, which is a huge indicator of your health, your grip strength, right? If you can't even hold yourself on the bar, there's a problem. And then also the body weight thing. So I think 5 to 10 is a great bar to have, no pun intended, just for a standard. So if you're working towards your first pull up, trying to get to that 5 to 10 rep range, unbroken strict pull-ups is a good one, because it will tell you like, okay, I'm getting stronger with my upper body, and my body weight's in a good place because I can move myself in this way that might not have been possible before if I was a bit heavier.
Yeah, I think that's like just like the running one. It's like kind of keeps your body weight in check a little bit. A lot easier to do pull-ups 10 pounds lighter than 10 pounds heavier. So yeah, I love that one. And then I also had like, I don't know what you think the merit of like weighted pull-ups are, or what you think.
I think they're awesome.
I love them. What you think the standard for a weighted pull-up should be? Like now, this is someone probably can do 10, and now you're like, okay, I want to just
ratchet it up.
I'd say like half body weight. So like if you were 200 pounds, maybe 100-pound pull up.
Just do it for a single?
Just a single. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to do them like, I used to do a lot more weighted pull ups, like heavy weighted pull ups. And like, I think I got up to like, it was over 100. I'm like, well,
Yep.
at least if I'm 300 pounds, I can still do a pull up.
Yeah. No,
uh,
I think that standard might be like on the high end if we're
yes, yeah,
talking just like a basic standard. I'd say minimum if you're like, okay, I got 10 in the bag, 10 pull-ups any time of day, put me on the bar, I got it. I'd say if you can do 25% for one or multiple reps, like so if you're a 200-pound man, you can do a 50-pound pull-up for 2, 3, 4, 5 reps, then that's a good spot to be. But
yeah,
if you want, like, I think in a like high end, like top 1% people can do 50% of their body weight.
yeah.
Um, but that's I think a great goal, honestly. Like if you're like, okay, I can do 10 plus pull-ups, start putting on weight, start adding load because that's going to be the next level up for yourself.
I think honestly, like the harder, I think you would sometimes you see the really big, strong powerlifter guys probably could do the 1 to 5 pull-ups, but I don't know if they can do the 10. So it's funny,
Yeah.
like if you're really
Yeah.
heavy and strong, like you probably can't do like that's the standard you start with, and then you get to do the heavier ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of people just too heavy body weight to weight strength to weight ratio. So I think like just the reps are important.
Now, are we going to be nitpicky and say, is this a pronated, palms away, or
Yeah,
supinated?
I think it's
Chin up.
a pull up, not a chin up.
Okay, yep. Because I think the chin up a little bit easier because you get the biceps cooking in there a little bit more. So I like the pull up. It's the tougher of the two to do.
Actually, I would say like I think the best way to do it would probably be like neutral grip would probably be
I
best.
love that for shoulders, etc.
I think like shoulders and stuff,
Yep.
more accessible.
Yep. Neutral grip's
but,
great.
Yeah, a little mix of both.
So my next one, and this is one where we had a discrepancy in different directions. So my next one's upper body as well, and it's 25 push-ups in a minute. So it doesn't have to be unbroken. Just have to get 25 push-ups done in 60 seconds. So and it keeps coming back to the body weight thing, especially with the upper body strength. But push-ups are a great standard, I think, more so than a bench press, in my opinion, just simply because of the functionality of it. Because it's an indicator. Could you get yourself up off the ground? If you can't even do one push-up, how do you get off the ground, efficiently without pressing yourself off of the ground in basically a push-up? Right. So being able to do 25 in a minute means you can get up off the ground anytime, any place, anywhere, under duress, tired, anything like that. So 25 push-ups in a minute is a good bar to set for yourself. And you thought that was maybe a little bit high when we were talking earlier, but let's hear what your thoughts are there.
I think I missed the in the minute portion.
Okay.
So I do I like that. Like it doesn't have to be all unbroken. I think like I don't know, even 30 unbroken wouldn't be bad for men. I think maybe 15, 20 for women. Mm-hmm. Whatever the standard is, I think there's some merit to say, hey, how long can you go? It's a little endurance, a little bit of strength. If you didn't break it up, breaking up, I think kind of like adds a little more strength bias to it, or like you get rewarded for strength, not maybe the endurance part. And I think like holding yourself up there is like almost like a plank too. So if you stay up there, you have to do like a max set or whatever number you hit without going down. Because I think within a minute you can kind of drop to your knees. I think that maybe that
Yep.
you might gamify it a little bit.
Yep.
But I think like obviously you have to be strong pushing, and then I think the big key there is like you see this a lot is like range of motion in push-ups. I think a lot of people like really stink at that. Almost like if you've never tried it before, like hand release push-ups might be a good standard for that. Just to kind of like your chest is touching the ground, and then you're pushing all the way up to the top. So you see a lot of like I don't know bro push-ups that are like half push-ups. And it's like I think a full range of motion in the push-up, same with the pull-up, would be kind of like part of that standard. With perfect form, maybe if you did perfect form push-ups, it's only 20, 25. I think 25 perfect form. If you're trying to go like maybe half reps, maybe higher reps. But yeah, I love that as a movement, upper body. I like that better than bench press as well. I don't think there's much, maybe a 250-pound bench press. I don't know if that really carries over to much more. I think like push up does. So
And bench press, there's form involved in push up, but I just feel like with a bench press, there's just a lot of different factors that it's good to have a goal on the bench press if you want to hit a certain weight, 225. Everyone wants 2 plates or 3 plates, whatever. But I think if you're just looking for a fitness standard that's going to show that you're healthy and well, push-ups are fine. You don't have to go hit the bench press because it can complicate things, and there's lots of shoulder. If you have shoulder issues and all kinds of different stuff, it can just get a little hairy.
it's funny. I was thinking about bench press. I'm like, I should bench press. I haven't bench pressed in like maybe a year. Like I just don't do it. Like I do incline bench, like different angles like that, but like you usually dumbbells and then dips, or like
Yeah.
like I feel like
Dips.
my chest gets, and I feel like my shoulder health is better.
Yeah.
Like
Especially
doing
with
dips.
deep dips. Like I love deep, like get way
yeah.
down in the dips and just sitting there, and that it stretches everything out.
Yeah, it feels so good. Like the next day, like I don't feel like the restriction in my chest, like my shoulders are pulling together. Like in a dip, I just feel like more on the outside. Like I have better range of motion. Like even when I just do functional things, or like honestly, like I was thinking about like because I was like swinging a golf club, I'm like, oh, my chest feels so much better. Like not benching
It's
and
open.
like, being so tight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think. I mean, I would even say I love dips as an upper body. I think I might like dips more than bench push-ups, but I think it's better carryover. I don't know. Maybe
What would your
more
what would your dip standard be if you're like, okay, I'm going to create a benchmark dip?
I think 10 all the way, full range of motion, really deep.
I think
pressure
10's
all the
good.
way up.
10 to 15, yeah.
Yeah. I think you could probably do a little more in the dips. I think it's just if you don't train your shoulders that way, or you have shoulder issues, I think push-ups are better, but more accessible. But I think it's another great, up body weight movement that kind of like shows that, hey, I think for beginners, push-ups are better. Like I wouldn't have someone who's never done a dip before just jump on, start ripping out dips. So
yeah, that might be like, okay, you got 25 push-ups. Now move towards dips.
Correct.
And see what you can do with dips, like a good progression. Because like you said, shoulder stuff, it's a different angle, different motion, etc. for pressing. Here's I actually have 2 more. I only had 1 more, but then I thought of one while we were talking because I feel like we're leaving a category out in terms of what a total fitness picture is. So I'm gonna we got 2 more. So 2-minute plank, not a push-up plank, a regular plank, because I think those are different. They are different, but people try to equate them, but they're really not. So a 2-minute plank, perfect form, straight through. What are your thoughts? It's fitness standard.
I don't like planks.
I knew it.
I don't think it. Think you can. I've seen people do 8, 10-minute planks, and I wouldn't say they're like. I think you can kind of cheat it a little bit, and I think there's better exercises out there than a plank.
What would your core? Well, I'll say why I like the plank, and then we can talk about what your core. So, I like the plank because if it's done perfectly, I think. I've seen people say they can do a 5-minute plank, and then I'm like, all right, show me your plank, and it's absolutely horrific. So then I'm like, do a real plank, and they can do it for like 15 seconds. So then I have a place to start, and I'm like, okay, if you can get yourself to a 2-minute real plank, I think that there's benefits there because it carries over, trunk and all that other stuff. And I'm just talking about a standard simple plank, but you can add a lot of wrinkles to planks to make them fun and different and more challenging. But I think for people who are just looking, who are starting their fitness journey or looking for a core standard, if you can hold yourself to a high standard and do a perfect plank for 2 minutes, I think that that's a good place to go and aim for. And it's definitely difficult, but I can see where I've seen the like Marine does a 7-day plank, and you look at the plank and you're like, oh my God, what is that? So I can see where you have some angst against the plank.
But. I think I love what I love about it is the accessibility. You could just do a plank, like one of my favorite things. I think other movements that might be better. I have 2. One would be like hanging knee tuck. I like those.
Or like an L sit. I was thinking L sit too.
You get the L sits. Like I think even just tucking knees up, you could hold. Maybe that's a hold. You get the grip strength, the shoulders opening, and then the core. pulling your
Mhm.
knees up, more hip flexor, more driving those knees up. I think the other one would be a farmer's carry.
Oh,
So
okay.
like you're working upper body, you're working your core. I think that might be another standard. I kind of had like body weight in each hand, which I think is a lot, not as accessible, but like, 200 pounds, you have 200 pounds in each hand. That's like, you kind of have to be able to deadlift 400 pounds to do that.
Hmm.
Maybe start with 100 pounds or half body weight. But I think like heavy farmer's carries, working on grip strength, working on moving the weight, balancing through your core, is maybe that skews it more towards strength and less endurance with the core. So
Hmm.
kind of depending on what you want to look for, but maybe it's starting with the plank, then you go knee tucks, then you go on farmer's carry, maybe like as a low progression that way.
Yep.
But those are
I
two
like
other
that.
ones that
I like that.
might be, kind of advancing it a little bit, but maybe better bang for your buck, depends on where you're at. Obviously, if you can't hang from a bar yet, I think the plank is great, like
Hmm.
all day. So just kind of wherever you're at. What
Farmer's
do you
carry,
think?
I almost feel like we could throw that in its own category. Like I didn't even
Yeah,
think about a loaded carry, but
100%.
I think a
Or would there
body
be another?
weight.
Would there be another loaded carry that you would be like, I like this over a farmer's
No,
carry, like a
I think
zercher?
the king is farmer's carry. Like it's if you could only do one carry, front rack, sandbag, whatever, farmer's carry is going to be the one to go. And I think what you just said, the body weight in each hand, that's a tough standard, but I think it's a great one. If you can do like 100 feet with your body weight in each hand, or holding a trap bar with your double body weight, I think you're in a good spot. That's
Yeah,
a fit
yeah.
person.
You're a
You're a
freak.
tank.
I would almost replace. You could almost replace the squat and deadlift with that one, just
Yeah,
because you
because
are
you have to
using.
pick it up.
You have to you have to pick it up. You have to carry it. You have to move it. Like essentially, like weightlifting is like pick. You want to be able to move weight from one side to the other. Like that would be like almost the goat of all of them.
That now I'm like, I wonder if I'll do this that next week and just try it. But yeah, that's a great standard for the carry. So we could add that one as its own category, I think. And I also I like the knee tuck or like L sit because that is a very the hanging version even more difficult. You could do seated, right, if you
Yeah,
have like something to put your hands on. But I think that's a great one too because that is more difficult and definitely less accessible. But if you got the plank in the bag, that's a great progression, I think, for someone who's like, okay, planks are easy. I need something more difficult.
yeah.
All right. So here's the one that I kind of thought of as we were sitting here, and I can't believe I didn't think of this before, but um, a 24-inch vertical for men and a 20-inch vertical for women. And there's definitely going to be as you age, just because of what happens physiologically. Oh, is someone coming in front?
Go. Where's Mama?
And this is brought to you by Huggies.
All right.
So the 24-inch vertical, 20-inch vertical, male, female, that would definitely change with age, like because you're just gonna, type 2 muscle fibers and all that stuff is gonna change as you age. We know that, but I think aiming for that number as you age can help you push back against father time, as they say. So, and 24-inch vertical, 20-inch vertical, I'm not talking about a box jump. I'm saying like you stand, put your hand on the wall, measure it, jump up, slap it again, and aim for 24 inches or 20 inches. That might be on the high end for a lot of people, but I think if you're aiming for a standard where like I'm fit and I can move my body weight through space explosively, 24 inches is pretty darn good, especially in your 30s and 40s after people have long stopped sprinting. Most people in society.
Yeah. What do you think? How would you compare that to like a broad jump? Just
I
because
was just gonna say,
I think a broad jump would be more like easier to measure. Like
broad
obviously,
jump, I'd say like a 7 foot for women, 8 foot for men.
yep, yeah. I think that one's like a great, explosiveness, more lateral. But I like, I don't, I think jumping. What about like even a jump rope? Because like I don't know, like I think those are all. I think the explosiveness, the one rep explosiveness, I think translates better or has better carryover. But
Yeah,
I think it's like people don't even jump.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like,
so
it's almost like the plank, like be able to do 100 jump ropes in a row, and then
yeah,
you'll be able to.
so you've got, because it's like in plyo endurance basically, right? Because
Yeah,
you're just
I don't
jumping and
know. I don't
jumping.
know. Maybe that's not
So you're saying if we were going to progress to that, like, oh, that seems like a big leap, no pun intended, for
Well, it's
for
just
people.
like a 1 rep max lift, so it's like you need some prerequisites a little bit.
Yeah, so I'd say if you can do like a minute
and
straight.
I don't even know if jump rope equals vertical jump. Like if it's the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
the same muscle groups.
Yeah, I don't know what the prerequisite would be, like a minute of jump roping straight or something like that to build up the endurance of it, or because that's going to get you like 100 jumps, right? We know that about a minute is like 100 double unders, give or take.
Yeah.
So that's like 100 jumps. So yeah, I don't know what the like prerequisite, because that's not really power. That's more like endurance.
And then you would if you did squat jumps, you could dog it. There's really no like standard of height,
So I guess what I would say is like you work, if you have a coach, you should get one. But if you should be like, hey, I want to see what my vertical is. That would be something you would work with your coach on to build up to that. Because I don't have, like, when I coach people, I don't usually say like, let's measure your vertical, but I actually do with my CrossFitters once in a while. I say, let's just measure it just to see for fun during a testing week.
What do you think about like you're flying 10 or is it 10
flying 10 meters, so 10 meter lead up,
like a sprint over a jump for explosiveness?
It's hard to measure that.
I love the category because I think like we're missing fast speed output on all these tests.
So if you don't want to do, you're saying like, all right, if you're not into the jumping idea, if you want to measure your power through sprinting,
do you think sprinting and jumping are two different powers? Like
no, I mean I think usually they go hand in hand. Like if you went to an Olympic sprinter or anyone who sprints, they're quickly, if they've been practicing sprinting, they're also going to be able to jump because they can produce power. They're producing power, single leg running, double leg jumping. But it's harder to measure the sprinting, like unless you like I have the little laser so I can measure it. Most people aren't going to go out and buy that thing. So it'd be a little bit harder to measure that. But if you have a way to measure it, I think a flying 10 meter or a flying 20 meter, meaning you give yourself a little running start and then you hit the line and then hit the line again to see what your time is. That's something you could measure and make standardized for yourself. I'm trying to think of the number though that I'd put out there for like what would be a good benchmark to hit.
I actually think I thought of a better one, or maybe one that's more accessible, like a ball toss. So like so like a chair,
med ball,
a med ball, like so then you can measure distance. So you're looking at like how your body explodes off a chair, and how far you can throw like a 20-pound ball.
Because then you're going to hear the Olympic lifters in the background say, "But we'll just have them do a power clean." It's like, but like I don't. There's no technical. It just throw a ball as far as you can. You don't have to get into barbell stuff. I think the ball is way better.
So you could just sit on a chair and jump up and throw it, and like you measure how far it is, and you try to beat it. Or I think there has to be an explosive component. It just depending on where you want to, how accessible and how easy you want to make it. But
so as far as I agree. If you wanted to, but I just don't know what the standardized number is. I just knew in my head for the vertical leap, I just knew like, okay, like 24 inches would be like an above average number for men.
What's your best vertical leap
that I've ever measured? It like standing vertical leap, I think was like 30 inches. I don't know what my running one was, but my running one was probably close, like 32 to 36 range. Like maybe when I was in college and lighter, it was probably higher. But like I actually am going to measure it again at the end of this summer. Because I measured it recently and it was like 29, somewhere like around there. And I've been trying to like lose weight and just work on it. Obviously,
vertical leap I think is a great number. It's just so hard to measure.
Yeah, and it's like was I stretching more like when I did it or not? Sort of thing. So what I honestly think the best thing to do is like find a basketball, like a thing you want to touch. Right, like a basketball hoop is 10 feet. Right.
Yep.
So I can't touch it right now, right? Let's say like I can't touch it right now. Train and keep just practicing, every 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks, you try to touch it. And if you touch it, you're like, okay, I've increased. Because if you do the like reach and touch thing, you know, you can always like, oh, I was more loose that day, so I got 2 or 3 inches, or I reached more than I did the day before, type thing. So
Yeah.
there are apps and stuff out there you could use to measure it, but like that's kind of
put a helmet on and try to hit your head off the ceiling.
just bang your head off the ceiling. That's a good one too. Yeah. So I think some kind of explosive measurement. I like the vertical leap one, but like you said, you do ball toss. If you have the way to measure a sprint, you know, have some sort of measurement. But I think 24 inches, 20 inches for men and 20 inches for women is a good way to see like, all right, am I able to move my body through space powerfully with speed, explosively? So anything else before we wrap things up, sir?
I think if you have if you're like, wow, I'm way off, I'm not even close on my, you know, deadlifts and squats, like you need to follow a program that like helps you
fill that gap.
Yeah, like just like so you're not like skewed in one way. Because I think like, you know, for me, I'd much rather be squatting and deadlifting than doing pull-ups or, you know, push-ups. You know, so like I'm gonna skew towards that. So we're gonna like try to, if you need a program, we're more than happy to reach out to us. Where can they find you for a program, Mickey?
They can find me at the Dad Bod Chronicles on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they can find you at
JP Wiz on Instagram.
Now, before I let you leave, I want to ask you something really quick. Is there any one of these things on our list, the deadlift, mile, but any one of these where you're like right now, like, I don't know if I got this in the bag? Is
I'd
there
say
one?
The mile. I don't run enough. Like
I think you could do it. I know
I could,
you.
Yeah.
You're a trooper, and you know if I was like, we're doing a partner comp tomorrow, and you're doing a 7-minute mile, like you'd sell your soul to do it, but it probably would suck.
It's funny. I think my feet. It's like I have to work my feet and my ankles and like jump more, like little jumps more, and like just like it's the impact. So it's like I think that's the stuff. I'm like I know my legs can do it, my lungs can do it. It's just like my feet. And I think as you get older, I think your feet like. You don't use them as much, like being an athlete, you know?
Yeah.
So I think like that's the stuff I'd have to work on. If I just like this little, maybe I'll add it in my next program, kind of get the feet moving a little bit. But I think like that stuff would help. But that's the only one. What about you?
7-minute mile one, I'd say it might have been an issue like back when I first started back into. I just wasn't like I was a good runner, but like the 7-minute mile thing, I don't know. I think I could probably do it right now. I'm really not lifting a ton of weight. Like I could do a 315 back squat, but I wouldn't feel great about it. I'd be like, or the 405 deadlift. Like I could pull that, but I'd be like, oh, that was something. Like I'd be like, that was a little something, because I'm not been lifting super heavy. But that's not really like.
But I
know I can do it.
Maybe our next episode we talk about goals that you should have for being a father and having kids.
I think that's a good one because I think there's some ones that dad should have in the bag. Dad should just be able to do. All right, sir. Until next time.
Talk about it next time.
We'll talk about it next time, sir. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right.
Did you have to put on a shirt for somebody?